Cybersecurity. It's not just about protecting data anymore, it's about safeguarding entire business operations and reputations. Today, we're diving into the world of digital fortresses and the invisible guardians that keep our online lives secure.
Oh, that's an intriguing way to put it. So, we're talking about more than just passwords and firewalls here?
Absolutely. We're delving into the core concepts of authentication and authorization, often abbreviated as Authn and Auth. These are the gatekeepers of our digital world, working behind the scenes every time we log into our email, access our bank accounts, or even use our smartphones.
I see. Could you break down what exactly Authn and Auth mean for our listeners?
Of course. Think of authentication or Authn as proving you are who you say you are in the digital world. It's like showing your ID at a bar, but in cyberspace. And just like how a bouncer might check multiple forms of ID, modern authentication often uses something called multi-factor authentication, or MFA.
Oh, MFA, I've heard that term before. It's when you need to enter a code from your phone after putting in your password, right?
Exactly.
Insider threats, a ticking time bomb in the world of cybersecurity? Well, not quite. Today we're discussing how these internal risks may actually be more nuanced and manageable than you might think.
Oh, that's an interesting perspective. Can you elaborate on why you say that?
Certainly. You see, when we talk about insider threats, people often imagine malicious employees deliberately sabotaging systems or stealing data, but the reality is far more complex. In fact, according to a recent IBM security report, 60% of insider incidents are actually caused by negligent employees or contractors, not intentional bad actors.
That's a surprising statistic. So you're saying most insider threats are accidental?
Exactly. It's not always about someone trying to harm the company. Often it's just human error. For example, an employee might accidentally send sensitive data to the wrong person, or fall for a phishing scam. But whether intentional or not, the consequences can be severe. We're talking about data breaches, financial losses, and reputational damage.
Privilege control, a key to cybersecurity? Well, not quite. Today we're discussing how this often overlooked aspect of server management may actually be the Achilles heel in many organizations' security strategies.
Oh, that's an interesting take. What makes you say that?
Well, it's not that privilege control isn't important, it absolutely is. But the problem is that many organizations implement it poorly or don't give it the attention it deserves. This can create a false sense of security that's potentially more dangerous than having no controls at all.
I see what you mean. So what exactly is privilege control, for those who might not be familiar with the term?
Privilege control, also known as access control or permission management, is essentially the process of governing who can access specific resources, information, or features within a system. It's like a digital bouncer, deciding who gets into which areas of your server nightclub.
That's a great analogy. So why is it so critical for server security?
Well, it's all about minimizing risk. By limiting access, you reduce what we call the attack surface.
Privileged Access Management, or PAM. It's not just a fancy tech term, it's the difference between a secure digital fortress and a house of cards waiting to collapse. Today, we're diving into why PAM is becoming the linchpin of modern cybersecurity strategies.
Whoa, that's quite the opening statement. What's driving this urgency around PAM?
Well, it's a perfect storm of factors. We're seeing an explosion in the number of endpoints, not just desktops, but laptops, tablets, smartphones, even IoT devices. Each one of these is a potential entry point for cybercriminals. And with the rise of remote work, the attack surface has expanded dramatically.
That makes sense. So how does PAM help address these challenges?
PAM is like having a super smart bouncer at the door of your company's most sensitive information. It regulates and tracks access to critical systems and data, ensuring that only the right people have access to the right information at the right time.
So it's not just about passwords and user accounts?
Not at all. It's much more comprehensive than that. PAM includes tools, procedures, and guidelines designed to control and safeguard
Privileged Access Management, or PAM. It sounds like a boring IT thing, right? Well, what if I told you it's actually the digital equivalent of Fort Knox for your business? Today we're diving into why PAM is becoming the hottest topic in cybersecurity.
Oh, now you've got my attention. Fort Knox for business, huh? That's quite a claim.
Well, it's not far off. You see, PAM is all about controlling who has access to what within an organization's digital infrastructure. It's like having a super smart, always vigilant security guard for your digital assets.
I can see why that would be important. But why is it such a hot topic now? Haven't businesses always needed to control access?
They have, but the landscape has changed dramatically. We're dealing with a perfect storm of factors. On one hand, we have this explosion of endpoints that's tech speak for all the devices connected to a company's network. It's not just desktop computers anymore. We're talking laptops, tablets, smartphones, even smart fridges in some offices.
Wow, I hadn't even thought about smart appliances being a potential security risk.